let's say your team was out of it. You're not fighting for anything. Would you like to be behind the plate when Aaron Judge has a chance to hit 62 or Albert Pujols has a chance to hit 700?
Yes and no. No, because I watch MLB Network Sports Center almost every night, and I've been on so many damn highlights. I make Sports Center MLB Network almost every night, but it's usually me catching, giving up a homer, or hitting being one of someone's strikeouts. So the highlights aren't necessarily, I'm there, I'm on TV. Look, Mom, it's me. God, that was not what we wanted, was it? God, but I was on TV though. You saw it. So that cool. I'd be on a forever highlight reel. But is it a cool highlight reel? Not really. I've had a handful of situations where a big moment could happen. The most recent I can remember was Miguel Cabrera last year going for his 500th home run. I believe he was flirting with 3,000 as well. I don't think he was ever up to bat.
No, because that happened this year. Yeah, that happened this year.
But it was like there was still like he was flirting with that, but more so he was up with the homers and they were switching out the baseballs every at bat for him. They had these special markings on him for Miggy so they could know this was the ball for this home run. And I wanted Miggy to do it so bad, but at least in that moment, I couldn't necessarily tell you why. I didn't want it to be us. I was like, no, you do it next series. You can do it next series. So I don't know. But at the same time, I'd love to be catching with that view of history. 700 homers is unbelievable, and what Judge is doing. I don't even know which one's better. I honestly don't know which one's more impressive.
You're a baseball fan. Which one's more impressive to you?
It's equal. It's so crazy because it's like 700 homers. There's a really good chance it's not done in our lifetime again. 62 homers, really good chance it's not done in our lifetime. These are two things that are like, I can't it's like watching, think about the guys that have hit high 40s, low 50s, mid 50s homers in a season. Like when Stanton was doing it too. It feels like they're hitting homers every night. And Judge is doing it at an even crazier rate. It's like, given the division they play in, the ballpark they play in, how great of a hitter he is, how he can take advantage of some things, he's a guy that can hit a ton of home runs, but it's tough for a perfect situation to go to the perfect player to actually be able to set a record like the American League home run record. And then also to play long enough to even possibly get to 700 home runs like Albert, who had to play for 20 plus years and have to hit homers at a rate when he's significantly older and probably more miles on his body than when he's 30 years old and was going to go out and hit 40 home runs no matter what. So I think it's a flip of the coin. I think they're both, I hope so bad that they both do it. I think it'll be so good for baseball. So I'm pulling for both of them hard.
What do you consider the single season home run record?
73.
Why?
Because that's what it is.
You don't have a problem with PEDs?
I do. I don't like it, but it's a part of our game that, if you're gonna not be on one person's side, then you got to be not on the side of quite a few baseball players that are even still currently playing. Sadly, it's a common enough thing that plenty of guys are doing it, and plenty of guys are getting caught. And there's no asterisks. They've never done anything. It happened. So it's the record.
And in your mind, I know it is the record.
Just in my mind, the argument on the other side, I totally understand. And honestly, you could probably convince me that that there should be an asterisk or something like that. But the reality is that it's not, and it happened. And it's also good for baseball that it happened. That was great. The McGuire-Sosa home run race that was going on literally saved the game of baseball. That was one of the greatest things to ever happen to our sport. So people might have a lot of bad things to say about that, but it helped.
Oh,
What
yes, it
Bonds
did.
did helped baseball. We're not a sport that just can show up every single Sunday like the NFL and be the most popular sport. Certain things got to happen, and certain players need to be extra special, regardless of what's going on, to make our sport more relevant and for fans to be into it. And what Pujols and Judge are doing is helping our sport immensely. Just like regardless of how it happened, Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa helped our sport. Some people might have not liked it, but attention, media coverage, all the stuff that actually makes you relevant, help the sport.
Do you even remember it? Because you were probably 6 or 7 when it
I
happened.
do. I remember it only because I was a big McGuire fan. I liked Sosa too, but I had multiple Big Mac posters in my room as a kid. I remember that year, went to a ball game with my parents, Dodger game, and my dad was a diehard Dodger fan. And I'll never forget because he's like, I just want the Dodgers to win, Gagne to get a save, and McGuire to hit a homer. McGuire goes backside homer. Dodgers win. Gagne comes in, gets a save. It was a perfect day to watch a ball game.
It's nice. I remember I was living in Atlanta at the time, and Michelle and I flew up to Cleveland, and we were playing the Cardinals. It was in the middle of the summer. He was in the 30s at that point, home run chase wise. But you knew something special was happening. I was like, I hope we kick their ass, and I want to see a McGuire homer. And that's exactly what happened. I couldn't have been happier. He just was. It really was
pretty crazy,
incredible.
man. So I was lucky enough to have him as a coach for a few years in San Diego.
In San Diego.
And so there's a few times that he would start talking about some of the stuff that he had to experience that I don't think anybody will ever experience again. It's a little different now. He's talking about borderline full stadium capacity filled, 30, 40,000 people for batting practice.
It's crazy.
To watch him hit BP. And he's like, you guys want to talk about pressure? That's pressure to go out from BP. People are coming to watch you hit homers. And then you go into the game and you might get one good pitch to hit. That's the crazy thing. I'm like, my goodness, like I know how I treat when we're facing Jose Abreu tonight, and I hope he might get one pitch to hit. We're not trying to give in to a guy like that. And Jose Abreu has 15 home runs. If he had 59 home runs, he might get 0 pitches to hit, but they have to be the only way you get a pitch to hit is a pitcher tries to throw a ball and accidentally throws barely a strike and you hit a homer. And that type of intensity, that type of pressure, that type of mental discipline to just step into the box every time and just take pitches and finally get that one. And you can't miss it. It was pretty cool to hear him talk about that kind of stuff. And I can assume that Aaron Judge is doing that type of thing because I know, ain't nobody trying to give in and just, 2-0, got to throw Aaron Judge a fastball, can't walk him. Like, no, this guy is not getting pitched to and still is hitting homers at an elite rate. It's pretty cool.
I had Tyler Glasnow on the show last week, and I asked him if he has a chance to face Judge, whom he's faced a lot. But if he has a chance to face him in the playoffs, why wouldn't he pitch around him? Like, why would you feed that guy anything? What's the philosophy if you get to the playoffs and you have to face the Yankees? I mean, why, if there's one out and nobody on base and here comes Aaron Judge, why the hell are you going to throw him a strike?
It's situational for sure. I think ideally in those situations, like you don't throw him a strike unless you have elite command with a special type of pitch. But what you do is you try and throw borderline pitches because you want to get him out. You don't want to walk him. We don't like giving up free 90s, regardless of who you are. There's situations with guys on base where you already have guys in scoring position. You put someone like that on. But with nobody on base, walking him definitely isn't the end of the world, so he doesn't hit a solo homer. But usually solo homers are not the difference in the game. Mm-hmm. 2-run, 3-run homers is what kills you. Solo homers don't. Walks tend to kill you. So those are the situations where ideally I would like to just make bastard pitches that are like 1 ball out of the zone or 2 balls out of the K zone wherever I'm calling it. If I want a fastball in, I want it 2 balls in, not 5 balls in. If I want a slider down and away, I want it 1 or 2 balls under and off the plate, like that. Like that's my intent. And ideally getting him to swing at one of those, make weak contact and get out, or make him make some good takes so he walks. But you're definitely not giving in to him if you fall behind.